A warfare, irrespective of the magnitude, has a lasting aftermath or impact on people who are directly involved. Throughout the history of the world, there have been wars which took place and changed the course of history. Let's take a look at top 10 wars in the world. Number 10. The Civil War of America. In terms of casualties, the Civil War of America was the bloodiest as well as deadliest battle ever fought in the history of mankind. The war took place between the Confederacy states and the Union. The gruesome warfare is also described as the war between the states. The blood feud continued to go on from the year 1861 to 1865. It is the Union which ultimately won the battle in the end. Number 9. The Chinese Civil War. The Chinese Civil War happens to be a worthy mention in this list. It was a civil war of a grave sort. The war was the upshot of a dispute which brewed between the Republic of China as well as the KMT, or Kuomintang government. This particular civil war in the Chinese soil continued from 1927 till the mid of 1951 at a stretch. The chief reason behind this brutal war was to determine a legitimate Chinese government. Number 8. The Taiping Rebellion. The Taiping Rebellion is known as a battle that was fought with a great deal of religious conviction. The war had been initiated in the year 1850, and it continued to grow in strength as well as stretched till 1864. The economic conditions which rained havoc in various quarters of China also took shape in the form of the war. Chinese civilians joined the rebellion in millions. According to the annals, this warfare claimed over 20 million Chinese lives. Number 7. The War of Kalinga. The War of Kalinga bears testimony to one of the deadliest as well as bloodiest feuds in the history of mankind. This grievous war was fought back in 261 BCE during the reign of the Mauryan Empire. The war took place between Emperor Ashoka and the Indian state of Kalinga. It is presumed that more than 1 million soldiers were killed in the war. Number 6. The Second Sino-Japanese War. The Second Sino-Japanese War has to be mentioned in this inventory. This is a war which was known to be a military conflict. The Second Sino-Japanese War was an upshot of the conflict that raged between China as well as Japan. The Jinan incident proved to be a vital part of this war. Japan decided to move into this battle with a view to obtain territorial gains in the mainland of China. Number 5. World War I. It is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria which acted as the starting point of this great warfare. Historians would choose to refer to this great warfare as WW1 or the First World War. This epoch-making global conflict initiated in 1914. It had developed in stature in the upcoming dour years and then came to a halt in 1918, precisely on the 11th of November. The deadliest of warfare had surfaced the United States, Middle East, Europe, Russia, Turkey, Asia, and even Africa. Number 4. World War II. Historians would choose to refer to this great warfare as WW2. The Great Warfare started from 1939. The war went on until 1945. The war is celebrated in the pages of history because of the enormous powerhouses involved in the war. The two major opposition groups were Axis powers as well as the Allies. It is crucial to note that there were more than 30 countries which took place in World War II. Number 3. The 30 Years' War. The 30 Years' War has witnessed enough bloodshed and gruesome conflicts. The war has been defined as a skirmish which continued for a whopping time span of 30 years. The precise dates were recorded as between the years of 1618 and 1648. Historians would like to look at it as an extensively devastating as well as legal warfare in the history of Europe. Number 2. The Dungan Revolt. While thrashing out on the top 10 deadliest warfare in history, the Dungan Revolt was the upshot of a great conflict which brewed following the heinous massacres of Han Chinese. The conflict was characterized by a set of massacres as well as migration. There were various ethnic Muslim communities that had been directly involved in the revolt. Number 1. The Russian Civil War. An abrupt and immediate reference to the illustrious Russian Civil War has to be made in this regard. The Civil War in Russia was a vehement initiative which was aimed at tearing the geographical unity of Russia. Lenin's Bolsheviks assumed a role of great importance in this war. The war had lasted more than 3 years. To be precise, the war continued till 1921 since its inception in the year 1918. Apart from civilians, there were militaries, eminent people from various foreign lands, as well as monarchists directly involved in the war. Do share with us in the comments what are your thoughts about these. Thanks for watching.